Alright guys, this is Trax FX, one of the lesser known Super FX games, for sure. So let's pop that in the Super Nintendo and check it out. As we can see, this game came out in 1995, published by Acclaim, is developed by Sculptured Software. And as you can see, this is a 3D dirt bike racing game. It's a pretty basic game, especially when you start off. I mean, the production feel is very low. The way the menus are, the music is awful. The music in this game is just horrendous, and it really brings the game down. First thing you're going to notice is, well, there's a big black border around the screen. And that's not a mistake that I made in the video editing. That's how this game looks on your TV. It's not full screen, like many FX games. Let me just fix that. So I've fixed that in the editing. I've zoomed in just so we have a better picture for the review. But just keep that in mind, this game does not run full screen. There's actually a very big black border. So the screen is shrunk down, even more than I think Star Fox or Doom. Which they have a little bit of a border, but it's not as bad as this game. But like I said, yeah, the production value in this game is horrible, and it really brings, your first impression of this game. I believe I rented this game back in the day, and I don't really remember it too well, but I'm pretty sure I didn't like it. I'm pretty sure I didn't play it very much. And I picked this game up maybe about a month ago, and popped it in and started playing it, and the same thing happened. I don't even think I played past the first level. I was like, this game is just awful. But you know what? Once you get past the first level, this game is freaking awesome. I was like so freaking psyched playing this game. It's so intense. I mean, look at it. It's so intense. I've never felt so tense playing a racing game on the Super Nintendo. This is the kind of game where if you freaking fell behind, I would probably get so pissed off I would break the controller. But when you're doing good, you feel good. It's just so intense. I don't know why. It works really well. And I used to think the game was hard to control, but it's not. I mean, you have to get used to it, yeah. But once you get used to it, it's probably easier to control than that Stunt Race FX game was. Stunt Race FX is the same thing. The controls are a little bit laggy. The frame rate's a little bit laggy. And you gotta get used to the controls. But once you get used to the timing of it, I guess is really all it comes down to. It's not so bad. And, this one's not as bad as Stunt Trax FX. I don't think anyway. I think this one runs a little bit smoother, and it's not really a jerky frame rate by any means. This one's actually fairly smooth most of the time. But the controls, on the other hand, they do take some getting used to. But once you get used to them, you're gonna love this game. I'm telling you, in these levels, it's just so much fun. It's so intense. And you can see that all the bikes are sprites, and all the backgrounds, fully 3D. Obviously, it uses the same FX chip that's in Star Fox, so it's not the later FX2 chip, which was in Doom, and I believe Yoshi's Island. And there's some other FX games out there too. There's one or two that I've never seen, but. Yeah, like I said, this one's probably lesser known too. Probably a lot of people didn't realize that this game even existed. And, it's not too bad. I'm not sure what it was priced at. That was obviously a problem with FX games. And, it would cost more to make a game with the FX chip, because obviously you'd have to buy the FX chip. And, I'm sure that wasn't cheap. If you look at Star Fox when it came out, it wasn't cheap. And Doom on the Super Nintendo with the FX2 chip, I think that game was like $100. Okay, and if you look at Virtual Racing on the SVP chip on the Genesis, that game was like $100 when it came out too. So it clearly costs more to make these games, just based on the fact they have the FX chip in it. Which makes you think, you know, if you were going to pay that extra money to make a game with the FX chip, you think that you'd put your all into the game. You know, you think you'd have the menus, and you'd think you'd have more variety, and you'd think you'd maybe have better music. And this game in all those areas, like I said, it's horrendous. The music is like, it's awful. It's so bad, the music in this game. And the variety's pretty bad. Like, there's not really a lot of options. There's not really a lot of different racing. There is a 2-player mode, which I'll show near the end, but it's very boring. But what it does have, and this, you know, what you're seeing now in the main racing, like I said, it's just so intense. The handling is pretty good. Every once in a while you go flying off the track like that, and you gotta get back in, but I mean, once you get used to the controls, and it's fun. It's pure fun. So, I mean, it's definitely a game that you gotta give a chance. And, you know, at first you're gonna think it's the worst game ever made. Even the first level is boring. And, you know, the first level is just a circle track. You know, there's no jumps. It's as basic as you can get. And, you know, so it gives a bad impression right from the get-go. But, you know, once you get past that first level, and once you get used to the controls, man, I can't believe I've, you know, put this game aside for so long. And yet I'm having so much fun with it right now. There's 22 tracks in this game. So, I gotta give it to them there. There's a lot of tracks in this game. And there's 8 different riders. Supposedly they have unique characteristics. And then there's 4 bikes. Obviously that's like your difficulty. Like in Mario Kart, when you can go from 50cc to 150cc, which I'm in right now. And the 150cc is just like the normal mode. So the 50cc would be easier. And I'm assuming the bikes are just slower because they're less powerful. But yeah, definitely, you know, definitely a game worth picking up. I got it really cheap. I found it in a thrift store or something, and it was the only Super Nintendo game there. And I was like, yeah, I remember this game. Or I remember this game, all right. I remember this game sucking. But it's an FX chip game, and it's probably worth picking up for the cheap price. But like I said, it's actually not a bad game. I don't know what I got in reviews. You know, certainly all the things I've mentioned will bring it down. You know, the music's awful, and the menus and stuff are all kind of rushed. But I don't know. Once you're playing it, it's a fun game. It runs pretty well. It's not really slow frame rate or anything. Probably runs a little smoother than Dirt Track or Stunt Trax FX, like I said. So there we go, I'm the champ. I love this when my face explodes. Boom! Guy reminds me of like Conrad from Flashback or something. You know, when they made faces out of, you know, super low polygon counts. This is the 2-player mode, and I don't know. I didn't like it. It might be fun with actual 2 players, but you know, right now this is just with the computer, and he's impossible to catch. But anyways, it's a pretty good game, so check it out, and see you later.